Okay, so content analysis. Content analysis is something that I love to do. It's my favorite way to do research because I like reading things. I like media. I love media. And so I like looking at books or magazines or videos or letters or SNS messages or TV programs systematically in order to determine what the text is saying to me. I'm describing the messages of a text, or I am comparing changes in a text across time, or I'm comparing differences in messages, maybe differences in time between 1960 and 2020, or I'm comparing differences between two countries, country A and country B. I'm comparing for similar media texts, or I'm considering how a concept is discussed in the media of one country or another country. So one of my research projects looks at the discussion of homelessness and the unemployed in Japanese society. And I read the Yomiuri Shimbun and the Asahi Shimbun and the Nikkei Shimbun and the Mainichi Shimbun. And I'm looking for uses of the word homeless, furosha, mushokusha, mujutakusha, or mujutaku. And so I'm looking for all of the stories that have those people, those terms in them, and how are they discussed? Who is talking about them? So is it a homeless person talking about homelessness? Is it a international aid person talking about homelessness? I consider who the message is from, what the message is. Is the person advocating to help for the homeless? Is the person advocating that homelessness is a big problem? Is the person saying the homeless are terrible? What is the basic message? So I'm looking at it for lots of systematic points. I'm looking for how the language is used. I'm looking at visuals and the impact of visuals. I'm looking at the way the color is used, if that is relevant. If it's a black and white picture, it's a difference. Now, I'm interested in Japanese society, so that's a topic I would research. Most of my students are not. They're interested in fashion, they're interested in color usage, they're interested in Disney, they're interested in the things that they're interested in, and that's great. But over the years, I've had students do a lot of really interesting content analysis projects. One student one year looked at gender representation in One Piece. She looked at the gender representation in the first few years of One Piece and gender in the most recent years of One Piece manga, and how the gender representation changed or didn't change during that time. And what she found is that more than 90% of the characters in the first period were male, and that this had dropped to about 80% in the second period. So most characters are still male, but the representation of women didn't change very much during that time. Women were drawn in a very similar sorts of body pattern, whereas men were all over. There were fat men, thin men, short men, tall men, all kinds of men, young men, old men, but women were all about the same age and the same body type. Is that surprising? No. But is it interesting? Yes, because we now have evidence that this magazine really has a very limited understanding of women and their role in society. So yes, it's a fun magazine, it's a fun manga, but no, it's not representative of real life. And if you're aware of that, great. It helps us to be aware. What we need to do with content analysis is decide what we're going to examine. So here, you see two magazine company covers here, okay? So these are both magazines that are published in Japan, Vogue and Vivi. And you can see that these two magazine covers are very different. Okay, and you might say, well, you can't compare them. Well, yes, you can. So Vogue and Vivi can be compared in a lot of different ways. If I look at these, what strikes me is that they're using different colors. They have different backgrounds. The models, though, have very similar facial expressions. So even though the model in the Vogue Japan magazine is standing and she's got her hands on her hips and her mouth is parted, her basic expression is almost the same as the model in the Vivi. Her lips are also parted. And you're going to look at several more covers and we're going to start to see similarities and differences. These two magazine covers are both from 2012. Okay, keep that in mind. These are both from 2012. So we've got colors there, we've got model facial expressions, we got model poses, we got the type of clothing, we've got the background colors, we've got the text colors, we've got lots of things going on that tell you these magazines have similarities and differences that target the consumer. Who is going to read these two magazines? These magazine covers tell you that. So here are some of the things that could be discussed by somebody in a research project. Of course, the month, okay? Because the month of a magazine is going to determine what kind of clothing is going to be featured in the magazine that month. What a surprise. You know, we get monthly magazines because, well, they make money that way and because people wear different things for different seasons. We've got colors are things that can be examined. Text, clothing, you know, these are backgrounds are all points that can be compared. The models themselves, the ethnicity, both of those models were Japanese. Let me go back and show you. Both of these women are Japanese or of Japanese, at least half descent. But the thing that always surprises me here is that the model that looks very Western has the black hair, and the model that's clearly more Japanese has the colored hair. So we can look at those things. So that's another issue in color. We look at ethnicity. We look at facial expressions. We look at whether the mouth is closed or open. We look at the makeup styles. We look at body posture, the pose. We look at shot distance, what is seen, what is not seen. So we're looking for various things that we can code in the data. Okay. Here are two more Japanese magazines, also from 2012, Sweet and Glamorous. Now, Sweet is using similar colors to Vivi. Glamorous has a similar pose. Sweet and Glamorous both have models that have a very front challenging look to them. Glamorous, though, her model, that model has got her head back. It's more vulnerable. She's putting herself in a weaker position, whereas the Sweet model, because her chin is down, that's a more of a challenge pose. Body language communicates and needs to be coded. Here are two magazines, Elle and Joy. I don't think you've seen Joy before. Joy is a German magazine. Elle, of course, is the Japanese version of Elle here. And both of these models are quite similar looking in their appearance, and their ethnicity seems to be European, okay? But their poses are quite different. Their facial expressions are quite different. The student who found these pictures looked at 5 Japanese magazines and 5 German magazine covers for 1 year. She did a sampling. No, she didn't do a sampling. She did the universe, all of the magazines from these 5 Japanese and 5 German magazines, looked at all of their covers for 1 year to understand differences in model body image. She was curious if the body images of the models were different. Here we have, again, Joy from a different month and the magazine Petra. And here is another magazine, Jolie, and the magazine Brigitte. All of these magazines, there should have been one other, but I guess I copied in the wrong one. All 10 magazines that you're going to be looking at, and you're going to be looking at them, I want you in your groups to think about what can be coded. I want to stop share here, and now go to share of Google Forms, Google Worksheet. Okay, and back over to share. Okay, so I have created a spreadsheet that I'm going to share with you in a minute that has all 10 issues of those Japanese and German magazines for January of 2012, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Okay, did I miss one? December. This is December. Okay, all of them there. December. I just didn't number that one as December. So let's rename that one 12 because that's December. Okay, we're going to put you into 12 groups. Each group is going to be sent to one of these magazines. So if you're in the black group or group 1, you're going to get January. If you're in the red group, you get November. Okay, and we're just going to do that by setting people up into groups. So let's stop share. Let's get the URL to paste into Zoom. And you've all been added already to that Zoom link. Monet, you're the only one I'm not sure. If you can't get in there, just send me your email in a direct link, in a direct message in chat, and I'll make sure you're there. So there is the link, and now we're going to make breakout rooms. And we have, let's see what I get with 12 people in 12 rooms. I don't want to have only 2 people in a room, so I might have fewer rooms. Okay, so I'm going to delete one room and delete 2 rooms and then recreate. And that still leaves me some rooms with only 1 person. So delete a room again and delete a room again, recreate, recreate. And I'm going to drop it 2 more rooms. Wasn't sure how many people would come in. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry, having Zoom problems. Okay, I got 8 rooms and 4 people in each room. Perfect. Dr. Wong and Dr. Matsuo, you're currently in a room. Jump out if you're not really part of the room. Okay, so you've got I got 3 or 4 people in each of the rooms. What I need you to do is to go to a sheet. So Kaho, Mirai, Misaki, and Maeda Nanaka? I don't know that kanji. You're in room 1. So you go to sheet 1. Chihiro, Funa, Reina, and Dr. Matsuo, you're in room 2. So Chihiro, Funa, and Reina, you need to go to 2. Room 3 is Hina, Mikuru, Mone, and Nagisa. You go to 3. 4 is Hina, Maho, and Moe, and Dr. Wong. So you're in 4 to start there. Room 5 has Aiko, Mika, Monoka, and Tamayo. And then room 6, I'm going to go ahead and add one more room because get more months done. Room 6 has Aika, Fumika, Riria, and that's all. 7 has Ayari, Chihiro, Yamamoto, and Mai, Chile Mai. Room 8 has Manami, Monoka, and Nene. Room 9 has Riko, Yui, and Nakai-san. And I'm going to add one more room. I think 10 rooms. So every room, every group is working with 3 people will be more interesting for you. And you can talk to each other better. And then the extra person in the room is always a teacher. So I'm sorry, but Nagisa, Kobayakawa, and Nanako, and Tamayo, I moved you into room 10. Okay, rooms 1 through 10. I will get these rooms open. I want you to go to your worksheet, that worksheet, whichever one you're assigned to. Okay, and think, what could be coded here? What could you code? So you've got all of the magazines from 1 month, all 10 magazines, and we're looking at all of them together. What could you code in those magazines? Okay. Any questions before I send you away?
Tamara, I think
Yes.
that they need to know where they can write the code number
Okay, so they can write the code information. You can write it in the space here. You could say, oh, color, and then text red. Okay, so text red, text gold, green, green. So I'm going to code the text color. And I have to look at that and decide. Maybe another thing I'm going to code is background. Okay? You decide what you can code, and then in the next 2 columns, you can say, well, we can code it. But mostly I want you to think about what can be coded. Okay? One thing that should always be coded is month. And I am in, what month am I in? I can't read it here. I think I am in the black worksheet. No, I'm not in black. I'm in yellow. I can't read the bottom because I have Zoom stuff covering it. Sorry. Where was I? I was in yellow. So I was in the yellow worksheet there. So that would be December.
So Tamara, basically when we code something, we are trying to trying to find similarities or differences,
Yes.
because that could tell us something,
Yes,
right? A similarity or a difference can be important information.
yes. So what she was interested in with these is, are there differences in the model's body image? And so she had to do a lot of things to find what those differences were. And so she, of course, included color, because color is one of the things that we really see first. But looking at how the model's bodies were portrayed was her key point of issue. And so she wanted to know whether were there differences over 1 year. So she's got all 12 months for all 10 magazines that she was comparing. And I'll be showing you her data towards the end of class today, okay? And you can see how she coded it. So I'm going to stop share there. I'm going to send you to your groups. It is 5:22. I'm going to leave you in your groups only for 25 minutes. So you don't have time to do it all. Don't worry about doing it all, but I want to see development and work by everyone. Make sure that your names get there. If I don't write them there, you should write them there. See you in the groups. I'm going to open all rooms. Hello, room 1. Do you have the black worksheet open?
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. How you doing, Misaki? It's a
Hi.
terrible day. Okay, so you should all be on that sheet, and you can start thinking about the January issues of Brigitte and Vogue and Vivi and Jolie and Joy and Sweets and Petra and Glamorous and Myself and Elle. So we've got 5 German and 5 Japanese magazines. What's going on with these? I like the fact that they both have something in English and something in Japanese every month, or something in German and something in English every month. I think that's very interesting, but maybe you don't. Okay, so are you on the sheets now?
Yes.
Okay, so get to work. Okay, I'm going to type your names into the box so that we have all of that written in. And we got Kaho. Kaho, who is your GP teacher?
Wong.
Okay, Dr. Wong. And Mirai, who's yours? So you should write that in your boxes there at the top for your GP teacher so that they can find you again, because that will be important maybe. Okay? See you in a bit. I'm gonna go to my next room.
Okay.
Toro, we were jumping to the same room at the same time. I'll go to room 4 or 5. Hi, ladies. You should be on mute, group 5, and you should be talking together here. You should not be muted though, so that you can work together. Okay, Momoka,
Yeah.
Aiko, hi.
Where is the worksheet?
The worksheet is, you're the green worksheet. Let me send you the URL again. So check the
Okay.
chat box. Hang on here. Okay. So there's the URL in the chat box.
Okay.
So I've got in here, who's in this room? I've got Aiko. Okay, so I've got your names on the sheet. Do you have it open now, ladies? Yes. Got Mika is here. Oh, I spelled your name really poorly.
Me.
Oh, I forgot the last A. Wakisak. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, and you should write your GP teacher in so that we have that information too. But the more important thing is the coding. So Mika, I see you've got your started there. Oh, good, you're all here. Yay. Okay. So get to work. What can be coded here? So you've got 10 magazine covers, 5 Japanese, 5 German. I think it's very interesting that all of the magazines have English on them. Okay, so well, almost all the magazines. You'll have to read them all. So does that magazine cover use English or not is something that was coded by Ms. Maeda in her coding. So I'm going to go to another room now. See you in a bit. Or room 6. Oh, hey, I didn't have a room 6. Okay, very good. I knew I was missing some month. What month do I have here? Where's 6? What happened to my room 6? My June. Where did June go? I deleted June? Oh my God. Okay, ladies, your month is missing. Go to December. You get to be room 12 instead. Okay, Aika, Riria, Fumika. So please go to December. I didn't bring in June. I'm sorry. My mistake. Okay?
Okay.
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 Like, where's room 2? It's not there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Sorry. Okay. So you get to do December, which is more fun anyway. Can't believe I did that. I skipped June. Oh well. Good luck. Let's get over to December. Okay, and I'm going to put you guys in December. Yeah, you couldn't find your worksheet because it didn't exist. Okay. Like Komaki. Any questions before I move on? Oh, you guys are doing fine. Ganbare. Okay, I will see you soon. Okay. Okay. Riria, Fumika, Aika, you should talk to each other, which means you should be on unmute. Okay. Riria, unmute. Aika,
Yes.
okay. You can't work together if you can't talk to each other. Okay, I'm going to go to another room now. I'll come back.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking here and you guys are doing great. You're typing in lots of things. So one thing you have to remember is that every month you must code the same things. So you've got hair color in so you've got, the month is July. It's always July for yours here. The theme color you've got for the Brigitte and Vogue, but you must also have theme color. Oh, you've got it for Jolie and Vivi. You have facial expressions for Brigitte and Vogue. You must also have facial expressions then for Jolie and Vivi. So you have to compare the same points for all the magazines. So all of the covers, all the same points. Okay? And it would be useful if you could talk to each other. I don't care if you speak in English or Japanese, but you should be talking to each other. So unmute your microphones. Thank you. Okay, I will come back. I'm going to go to room 8 now. Okay, hello, room 8. You guys are doing good. You're looking good. Make sure that for every month, you compare the same points. So text color, person, month, backdrop. You got to get pose also for Brigitte and Vogue. So you've got to have the same points compared every time. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So, and speak English or Japanese. I don't care.
Okay.
This is not an English class. This is, I speak English because I'm lazy. You should speak Japanese because you're lazy. We're all lazy. Hey, Rico. Hi, Yui. Hi, Nakai-san.
Hi.
So we've got month is 1 point of comparison. What's another thing you could compare? So month, color, text,
Mascara.
background. I'm typing in some ideas. Background color. Okay, so Vogue has a different background color than Brigitte, but Vogue and Jolie have the same background, white. So background color, pose, how the model is standing, shot, distance, how far or close, is it far away or close up? Like this. Sorry. Okay, accessories, yes. Okay, you're getting there, okay? So then you have to do the same thing for every magazine, for every cover. So once you decide the points to compare, you do them every time. And if you add a new point, you have to go back to the earlier magazines and add it for that one too. Okay, so if you need to add in additional rows, you just insert a row above and you can add an additional row. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next room. And I have not been to 10 yet. Okay. Okay, so hi ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
so Nanako,
Yes.
Maeda. Ah, this study was done by a woman named Mai Maeda. So similar name, Nagisa Kobayakawa, and Yo Kawakami. So Tamayo and I have almost the same name. Right? Rari yo. Tamara Tamaro. We have almost the same name. Okay, so yeah, we got text color, background, hair, hair color, facial expressions, pose. Okay, so as long as you're doing the same points for every magazine, it's perfect. Okay, so we're always trying to do the same thing. So if you need to add more rows because you need more space, just insert another row above and you can add more rows so that you can compare them for every magazine on every point. Okay? Okay, keep going. I'm going to go back to room 1, see how they're doing. Okay, so you guys look like you're doing pretty good. It is helpful if you turn off your mics so you can talk to each other. It does make it easier. So we got month, great. Text color, great. Clothing color, okay. Background color. Can I make a suggestion? Pose. How is the model posed? Okay. Shot distance. So is the model, is it a full body shot or is it a close-up? So that is something that is often coded with images. And I know some of you are going to do magazines or movies for your coding. Maybe you're going to look at Ghibli movies or something. You want to consider that kind of thing. So if you need to add more rows, just insert rows above something and you can insert more rows, okay? So keep going. Make sure you get a couple of them done here. Ganbare. Any questions before I run away? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
Okay. Hi, ladies. So Tito, Reina, and Funa. Fujiwara.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so all your names now are on your form so your teacher can confirm that you were in class. Very important. So Chihito's teacher is Dr. Matsuo. We're going to change that to doctor. He worked hard for that. I worked hard for it. We want to be called doctor. We worked hard for it. So colors, month, clothes. I'm just going to fix the spelling here. Accessories. Oh, so you have accessories here. Make sure you also do accessories for the Jolie and BV magazine covers. Facial expression, you have it in Brigitte and Vogue. So you also need to have it in Jolie and all of the other magazines. Oh, you got it there. Okay. So model. Oh, you've got model. Okay. Here, so you have to have model, and look, he's model ethnicity. Okay, so foreign model, Japanese model. Well, the Jolie is a German magazine, right? So a gaijin model would be Nihonjin. So we don't call her a foreigner. Okay, let's call her Western. Okay, because she's not foreigner in Germany. She looks German. I think I know the name of that model. Let me check real. Her name is Melinda Clark. Okay, so so one of the things that Maeda Mai did when she was doing this coding was code for who the model is. So Melinda Clark is a German fashion model. So she's not foreigner, she's Western. Okay, and this one he has Japanese women, you know, so Japanese or Asian would be fine. Okay? But model ethnicity for both of these would be foreigner. ちょっと聞いてください。外国人は差別言葉使わない。使わないで、差別の言葉。私は、外と内のことです。もし、差別の場合では、その言葉を使いますけど、モデルエスニシティは、エジア系の人か、ヨーロッパ系の人、ウェスタンの系からアフリカ系の人とか、南アジア系の人。So, エスニシティは差別ではない。けど、外国人は少し差別的。ブリジットはドイツの雑誌です。だから、ブリジットの外国人は日本人です。だから、もし、それは日本人の場合は、foreigner、外国人は正しいです。かもしれませんけど、知りませんですね。ブリジットのモデルは、ドイツ人かドイツ人ではない、はっきりわからないから、ウェスタン。使ってください。そうすれば、perfect。Okay? そうすれば、そして、その人は Western Asian。Western。Okay? けど、外国人の言葉は使わないでください。モデルの場合では、どの国から知りませんですね。例えば、大坂なおみは日本人ですけど、ちょうど普通、平均的に日本人は似てないけど、日本人です。So, ethnicity を使ってごください。Okay, background, nature, white spaces. You guys are doing good, but other than that. Okay, keep on going. Gambare. Where are you going to? Room 2, room 3, room 4 again. Hi, Hina. Hi, Moe. Hi, Maho.
Hi. Hi.
Okay, so month, text, pose, background, clothes, facial expression. Okay, text color, pose, background, clothes, facial expression. Good, you got the same points every time. Exactly what you need to do. You have to do the same points for every single one. And only by doing that can you see, are there similarities or differences? And so it's a very much a system. Doing good. Okay. I'm going to go to room 5 now. Hi, room 5.
Yes.
Color, month, expression, background, pose, clothes, model. Color, month, expression, background, pose, clothes, model. Okay, let's not use the word foreigner. 理由わかりますか？
わかりません。
ドイツの雑誌ですね。
うん。
外国人ですか？彼女はドイツ中に外国人ではないね。ウェスタン。そう、外国人はウェスタン。そう、多分ドイツ人、多分フランス人、多分アメリカ人ははっきりわからない。
じゃあジャパニーズのやつで外国人やったらフォーリナーってやっていいってこと？
それは少し差別ですね。差別な言葉です。例えば、大坂なおみの絵を使えれば、彼女は日本人ですけど、外国人に似てる。ちょっとアフリカ系の人。So, foreigner は Western。Okay? Westerner を使ってるかいいかもしれません。
はい。
Okay? 外国人は少し差別的。
はい。
Okay. It's yes, in Japan, gaijin, but not in Japan, not gaijin. But in Japan, I'm a gaijin and I'm a Westerner. In Germany, I'm a gaijin and I'm still Westerner. In America, I'm not a gaijin. I'm an American. And I'm still a Westerner. Okay, so my ethnicity is the same everywhere. Okay, so that's now, I think, better. Okay, so, and you have only May, because I only gave you May. I'm gonna keep breakout rooms open just a little more. And only May. Okay. Okay, you're doing good though, but don't use foreigner. Be more specific because you don't know if it's a foreigner or not. You know, I know people who look like a, yes, Dozo.
This magazine is all months is May.
All month is May. Okay, but
Okay.
when we put all of them together, we have 1 year. Okay, so your group got just May. Okay, but always put in, yeah, you can just copy paste May. All of those are May.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why you're group 5. And I left out June. For some reason, June disappeared. Okay, our time is up. I'm gonna bring us back into the main room. So I'm gonna close all room, leave the breakout.
So I can do polling, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Tamara. You mute it? You mute it.
Okay, they're all coming back now.
Yeah, they kind of figure out like a 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are kind of talking about, because it's kind of hard because they don't know what to look. So, you know, because that's not their research question, but I hope
No.
they can get an idea, right?
It's basically the first thing. And once they have a research question, then they can start setting up a code book. And that's what I'm going to share next, and then share the coding information
Mhm.
that this student had, and how she put it into her spreadsheet, which I found this to be the most lovely spreadsheet.
No.
You'll see it in a minute.
Okay.
So, hi ladies, is everybody back? It looks like everyone is back, which is fantastic. So I'm going through all your spreadsheets. Sorry about June, not there. I skipped June entirely. And so the group 6 did the December magazine. Sorry, don't know why I didn't copy in June. Yeah, oh well. But I think you were all heading into the same direction. Let me show you now Ms. Maeda's code book. And so I will, a copy of this will be on the, in our shared drive, so you can take a look at it. She could have coded for other things, but this is what she did code for. Share screen, Word. Okay, so she quoted, of course, for, you know, the name of the magazine, of course, is important. The date of the issue, the year and the month. And year wasn't really important, but she recorded that information anyway. The cover model's name, because a lot of times the famous person or a famous model was used in the cover shots. And so if that did happen, she included the name. If it did not, she left it blank. Then she coded for the style of the shot, okay? So you can see here that she had, they were standing, or they were standing straight on, they're standing sidewise, they were sitting on the floor, sitting on a chair, they're lying down. It was just a head shot, so no body below the shoulders, standing leaning against something, standing looking over her shoulder, and something other, okay? Other is one of the key things. If you have a lot of other, that means you have to go back and check. But sometimes something you go, it's just not there. So one of the magazine covers has 3 people on it. And so that one got coded as other for some of the coding areas because there were multiple expressions. And she decided to just code the first woman in each of those pictures, the woman that was in the front, for the individual expressions. Otherwise, it would have been too complex. So that was one of the decisions that she had to make. The facial expressions, you can see here that she had these general facial expressions: smiling, frowning, no expressions. Snarling, she meant by looking tough or looking angry. I thought snarling was a strange word, but she explained it and her definition was clear. The position of the mouth, she was coded for that. The position of the hands and arms, the color background, the clothing style. Okay, you can see that she coded different points for the style of the clothing. And one of them was no clothing, naked, okay? The color of the clothing, okay? And because color, if there's no clothing, she also added there, okay? And so she tried to code only the main color or the main shade. And so if there was lots of colors there, but like on that one Vogue cover, it was a black dress with lots of colors on it. She coded that as primarily black. She coded accessories, and some of you did that. And then she did a BMI estimate, okay? So she was interested in body mass. So how big did she think this woman was? She could get this information from a lot of the women through model data that's available online. And even in 2012, it was available online. The height of the model and their weight is usually something that can be estimated or found. This was important because from 2011, models in German magazines had to have a BMI of 18 or higher. So their body mass index could not be under 18. And this really changed the modeling industry in Germany from having super thin models, like many countries do, to having normal body size models. I'm not a fat person, but my BMI is 20. And people, it's like, I would be too fat for many modeling jobs. But in Germany, I'm at the right size to be a model. In Japan, I wouldn't be. So these are the points that she estimated and that she was coding for. I'm going to stop share there, go and get her Excel spreadsheet now. And this is what she did for her coding. So you can see all of the magazine covers. So all of the Brigitte, all of the Jolie, all of the Joy. She coded all of them. She had her codes. She wrote the model names, and I'm going to make that bigger and a little bit easier for you to read. And she then did the coding in numbers so that it would be easier for her to do the calculations. How many were in different styles. Later, this gets translated back into words, but this sort of creation of a code book with a numbered thing meant that she didn't have to type a lot. She only had to type 1 or 2 numbers for each point, instead of writing style of shot, sitting on ground, sitting on ground, sitting on ground, sitting on ground. Instead of doing that, she used a number. So remember, each of those points in her code book had a number, and each of those numbers, she knows what it means. So here's the Japanese, here's the German ones. And you can see how she coded in here, which, you know, she's got some places where it's multiple codings. She couldn't make a decision. Later on, she goes back and cleans that up. She's got the similar thing here for the Japanese magazines. You can see how she's coded for the the various Japanese magazines, the months they come in. And having them all in one spreadsheet allowed her to also look at them all together and think about them. To think, okay, this is what I'm seeing in 1 year of 5 Japanese or 5 German magazines, and how they have similarities and differences. And I can look at these and we can see, oh, Vivi is always doing pink, 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 pink. But Vogue is more adventurous in its colors. So Vogue is sometimes using orange, kind of a red, purple, pink, gold as their main colors. So Vogue experiments more, but Vogue's background is always white, whereas Vivi has all kinds of colorful backgrounds. These differences help us to understand the targets for the magazines, as well as how the magazines try to portray women within them. Now, her conclusion was that the Japanese magazine models tended to be lower BMI than the German magazine models, but not a lot lower. Based on her data, she found that most of her models in the German magazine were 18 to 20 BMI, whereas in the Japanese magazines, they seemed to be 17 to 19 BMI. Not a big difference, but still informative. Mostly what we have going on here is that she's learning how to, and you would be learning how to, systematically examine something over time or across countries or both. 1 year student compared book advertisements in Yomiuri Shimbun from 1960 through 1970 and 2000 to 2010. So she looked at all of the book advertisements in those 2 decades, looking for what was similarity and different in the books advertised and how they were advertised in one Japanese magazine, one Japanese newspaper. She really liked books. Great. What was advertised, though, changed by the focus of the social structure of the society and was related for some of the books to current events. About half of the books had a relationship to current events. About half of them were novels in both periods. I thought it was interesting. She thought it was interesting. She did the project she wanted to do. Other students have done comparisons of Disney movies, early Disney, mid Disney, late Disney. So the movies from 1920s through 1950s, early Disney, mid Disney, movies from 1960s through 1990s when they start doing computer generated movies, movies from 2000 onward, more recent one, randomly selecting 5 movies in each period. How did images of women change, or how did the men in the movies change? Lovely little projects. So those were both Disney projects that were very different, very interesting. Another student looked at changes in Ghibli films and how Ghibli films from the first period and the late period, how those 2 sets of movies were similar and different in their storyline. There are lots of ways to do content analysis. If you want to explore this more, there are several books in Osaka Jogakuin Library that explain content analysis in Japanese. And I suggest that you check one out if you're going to do this, or that you do a search for Bunseki in Bunseki Hoho in Japanese databases for descriptions of how to do content analysis in Japanese. Students who are working with me, we're going to develop your code book jointly. You'll show me what you're working with. I'll help you improve your code book. Students who are working with Dr. Wong or Dr. Matsuo or Dr. Miller, you'll be doing similar things with them. And always any student who just needs a little bit of advice on content analysis, I'm happy to help you, even if you're not my GP student. Any questions?
How of course it really depends on the research question, and also that the person kind of how accurately she can kind of code it the first time, but how many times in general you have to kind of recursively kind of look and
You have to recursively go back. I tell my students you probably will need to go at least 3 cycles through.
3 cycles. Okay.
Yeah, because your first cycle through, you know, you're probably going to catch things, and then you're going to need to go back and make sure that everything that you saw in the later stuff, you make sure that you code it again in the early stuff, just in case you miss something. And then you need to mix up your data and code it again so that you check your own coding. Okay. If it's ideal, if you can get a friend to use your code book and code 10%.
Okay.
So if you're doing, like this student did, 10 magazines for 12 months. So she asked a friend of hers from GP class to code 1 magazine from each month. Okay, so 1 month was a German magazine, 1 month was a Japanese magazine. So that friend coded 10% of her sample, doing some English, some German magazines, some Japanese magazines. Did she get the same thing? Okay, because that kind of consistency is important. If you're not getting the same thing every time, you need to fix your code book.
Basically, that's a kind of qualitative reliability, right?
Qualitative reliability. So there is a statistical way to calculate that, and those students in my class who do it, I will be asking them to do that kind of analysis. Scott's Pi is the simplest one to run, and you can do it on Google Sheets.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I lose my voice? Okay. I hope that helps you. Those people who are doing content analysis projects with me, great. I hope you got what you need from this. And those working with Dr. Wong or Dr. Miller or Dr. Matsuo, and be sure to ask them if you have any additional questions. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I'm going to stop the recording now.